Hi everyone, I'm Niccara.
And I'm Brandon.
And welcome to our podcast, But Make It Books.
A podcast where we are bookishly healing through life.
Yes, we are.
Yes, time to check in.
Yeah. It's a check-in. It's a check-in. It's a check-in.
It's the check-in.
It's the check to the end.
How are you feeling?
Very good. Planning my engagement party, so a little stressed about that, but we're good.
Yeah.
It's going to be a clatchet affair.
A clatchet affair.
Yes.
That's exciting. I love little...
For the clatchets who don't know what clatchet is, it's classy and ratchet. Clatchet.
Savage, classy, bougie,
ratchet.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yes.
Love a situation.
Yes.
I am good. I am very chugging along, go with the flow. What's happening is happening, and everything happens for reasons and good reasons, and it's interesting. I'm glad we're talking about today because today we're talking about the book Ring Shout by Jeli Clark, and it's about like monster hunters and monsters and things like that. People say I've been battling my demons, right? Or and I feel like some of that has been coming up in my life too, but it's also been like a natural flow process, which I'm very appreciative of. And so again, that's all I ever ask in this life is just let's keep it moving. let's honor the moment and let's keep it moving so we can get to a better place.
Everything is everything. Word to Lauryn Hill.
Threw out on the last episode, maybe we should call it a snowball.
A snowball.
You know what I mean? Like
a snowball.
A snowball. So, for our snowball icebreaker.
Oh, that's smart, actually, because we're snowballing into the conversation so it can be little and then it grows and grows. And then, would you like to build a snowman?
Exactly. Or you want to go across the street and grab a snowball. Because it's hot out.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
that's true.
It's
that's true.
It was a great conversation piece. But again, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite fast reads, Ring Shout, today. And we'll get into a lot about why this piece was written and the poignancy of it. But for our snowball, I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
What would be your specialty in a battle to beat monsters? Like, what would your skill set be, your weaponry? Like, how would you, fictional monster hunter style? Like, what would be your gig?
Dang. That's a very good one. I don't know. If I had to, it would be like 3 characters in Marvel come to mind. So, or maybe 4. Like Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Like the ability to do super fast, super healing, super strength, all those things. Or Scarlet Witch. Or Ironheart. Or like the Black Panther, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what it would be. I guess like...
You definitely give me Shuri.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like, that's where I'm at. So, I don't know. Like, that I think that's what I would be like.
So, like, somewhere with technology.
Yeah, something with technology.
And, like, just high intelligence.
High intelligence, but also feeling.
Strategy.
Like, strategy, yeah. So.
You know what we need to, like, someone gets shot in the field, you've helped create whatever technology or a big part of the spearheaded of technology to, like, be able to heal something that would take years in like 20 minutes.
Yes, that would be me. I would want that. Yeah.
I see that for you.
Well, how about you?
So, I mean, if I'm honoring, that younger child that wanted to be the sixth Ranger or something like that, the sixth Power Ranger, like I know 6 or 7 types of Kung Fu. I am skill setted in 4 or 5 different types of weaponry. Yeah. I've always wanted to learn how to use a bow staff. I still, this is that one day I will have
it. Big purr, big purr, big purr.
You know what I mean? But, something about it is very, like, I want to be, like, in the gritty, like, we gonna go jack some, we gonna go tear it up or what have you, it's like, all that stuff. I mean, those were always, like, I loved Daredevil, something along those, like, just, not necessarily promoting vigilante justice here, because it's a dangerous thing, right?
Yes,
but like at the same time, there was something about, like, my favorite characters were the ones that stood up for the underdog, but because the system as a whole were jacked up. Like, there was no superhero because I have to be a part of this Captain America-esque situation to be that guy. I'm also not a super villain because I'm not trying to be a destroyer of worlds, right?
Yeah.
But I'm somewhere in between because I am going to break rules, break laws in order to like create a better existence for my community, home, or what have you. And it's like, so definitely like some Daredevil-esque, well-skilled
So you
character,
did bring up villains. So I have a counter to that.
Yeah,
What villain do you think is misunderstood then?
So misunderstood is an interesting question because I don't know if so many people misunderstand someone. Like, let's go to Thanos. Mm-hmm. I don't know if people misunderstand someone like Thanos so much as we just massively disagree with him because you have to eliminate so much in order to return the state, the world, anything to its natural environment again. And so many of us as humans, the human condition, we make connectivity. So many things are important to us. We can't let anything that we have put our hands on go. And so it's like, it's such a mass, like, okay, boom, boom. You know, he had a point. Similarly with Killmonger.
Yeah, I was going to say Killmonger's
It's
mine.
like, you know what I mean? Killmonger.
He got a
sure.
point. He had points.
He had several points, which again, it's like, I think we all understood. But like, you know, it's that inner turmoil, which is why I feel like I align with like the Daredevil style. Because it's like, you know, all right, everybody go sit down. I'm gonna just go and do my thing. You know, it's like, because it's I don't know. So, because it's hard because like, you know, they make great points.
Yeah, they make great points.
And, you know, the great point about this book is ultimately that it is born off of something that has really quite literally birthed this nation. The Birth of a Nation, a film.
Which is in the book.
You know what I mean? So actually, so let me
let's go back.
Let's go into like this.
Rewind back.
So here's a little synopsis from the Storygraph that describes Ring Shout. In 1915, the Birth of a Nation cast a spell across America, swelling the Klan's ranks and drinking deep from the darkest thoughts of white folks. All across the nation, they ride, spreading fear and violence among the vulnerable. They plan to bring hell to earth, but even Ku Kluxes can die. Standing in their way is Maurice Boudreaux and her fellow resistance fighters, a foul-mouthed sharpshooter and a Harlem Hellfighter. Armed with blade, bullet, and bomb, they hunt their hunters and send Klan's demons straight to hell. But something's awful brewing in Macon, and the war in hell is about to heat up. Can Marie stop the Klan before it ends the world? So that is, you know, I feel like that's a big question that we have here.
Yes.
And again, we go back to this global issue, right? Yes. But if we're looking right here in America, what are we fighting? What is the end of the world? What is the end of our world, right? And I know in this specific genre and the story that we're telling here, we have this really well-blended thriller, horror, sci-fi type of moment.
Thought piece.
You know, that's also truly a piece of resistance, an act of resistance. Because how many times have we gone through the news, through life today, and still find these types of monsters there? Karens are types of monsters, right? Like, we are still on the front lines battling, using all these different tools that we have to just get through day to day and still take down somehow these monsters that are now. And I love this part, how it's like, you know, it's cast a spell across the plane and the world, because that piece, Birth of a Nation, really did that. It really spearheaded and changed the trajectory of Black perception and authenticity, and it took a hold of it and reshackled it and then put it to work again in a way that would transform the minds of all the generations to come, regardless of your background.
And because what do they say in the civil rights movement? No Jews, no Blacks, no Mexicans. Like, all of that. It's like, God dang, like.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
A synopsis on the monstrous figures in the book, because, again, it transforms the people into these monsters that are called Ku Kluxes. Yeah. The Ku Klux Klan, right? So just a little bit of history. The first Klan was established during the American Civil War, and it was defining of the Reconstruction era, right? So numerous independent chapters across the southern United States were enforced through federal law and suppressed that whole section around 1871. And then its whole goal was to overthrow what was then the Republican state, right? So back then, what was highly considered to be a bunch of apologists for the Negroes and just made certain political standards and financial moves that were anti what is now right wing. Their whole goal of the Ku Klux was to overthrow that, heavily focusing on voting and making sure that nobody could actually get their point across that did not fall under the lines of the white supremacist rule at the time. So that was anybody. But the main point of interrogation was in the black community for them. So that's where you hear a lot of stories about lynching cross burnings and church bombings. That's the genesis of a lot of these things that we still in a lot of ways deal with today, because it's not, the fire is still going in the church. It just looks different. And the lynchings are still happening. They just look different. So this is...
It's funny we're actually in this conversation.
You know what I mean?
Because I just finished this documentary on Hulu about infiltrating the KKK. And it was AP News. AP News and ABC News like documentary. I think it was ABC News actually. But it's on Hulu, and this guy goes deep undercover. He's military background, goes deep undercover, and rises to the highest rank. I think it's like called Grand Hawk or something in the Ku Klux Klan, where they are the ones who administer the like justice and violence, and like literally was trying to go within this jail and like this secret invisible empire, they call it, which people may not know what invisible empire is where the Klan is like amongst you, and if you know, you know. So police departments, prison systems, politics, all of that. And so I highly suggest everyone watch it. It was very good. It was like stuff I already knew what was happening, but I was like, it's crazy, and it's funny we were talking about this now because I literally just watched it. It pertains to everything that's in this book.
I mean, and that's part of the because then I think about like Black Klansmen and is that not enough for you? Like the fact that you can be infiltrated, that you have to be, somebody has to break entry into your very schismatic, if that's a word, way and path of thinking. Somebody has to like break into it in order to unearth it and reveal your activities or so forth. Why do you have so much secrecy, and why are you such a unit around your hatred, around the way that things quote unquote should be, because of all of these things, right? And so then we go into domestic terrorism, and then that brings up the question of why are we removing that narrative from the people who are actually doing it? But then when somebody like Maurice or her two sisters go and actually try to do something about the actual domestic terrorist threats, they get that title. They get, oh, you're fighting, you're holding us back, you're destroying us, you're the problem. But this, again, why is it so hard for you to see the truth, which is actually the 180 of that? You folks are the problem, you know, and we can point this out I don't know how many ways, because it has been pointed out I don't know how many ways. So it takes someone having to suit up, put on, get their skills up together, they're fighting, all their what have you, you know, metaphorically speaking, obviously, but like, you know, not, because we have to, I still, and this segues me actually great into my first real point of discussion. Being a Black woman working in the political sphere, that is the heart of all of this stuff. Like you have to go in suited all the time. What is that fight like? What is that battle, knowing that you are skilled, you are trained, and you do this, and you go into this battle with the Ku Kluxes all the time. So what is that for you? You know what I mean?
I mean, difficult. I got to stay prayed up. Holy water on deck. I mean, it's like a couple different battles. One, you're battling disinformation to your community and making sure your community knows how much power they have. Because I think that it has been proven, not proven, but kind of forced upon our people in particular that, oh, it doesn't matter if you vote, like they gonna do whatever they want anyway. And it's like that is the goal of the enemy, to not allow you to vote, because really you should be focused on local elections. You have to focus on everything, but everything from the time you were born till the time you die is signed by a person who is an elected official. Like everything, sheriff's department, school system, what your kids learn, how they heavily police your kids, that is a school board decision, what you vote for. And so also like just educating my community in that front. Then you have the front of the well-meaning intentioned folks, white folks who are there, who do mean well, but sometimes you have it where they want you to succeed, but not at the detriment of themselves. And like, look, everybody wants success, everybody wants to protect their family, everybody wants all the things, but would someone want to do that at the detriment of their own things, whatever those things may be? And I think that's where you get the Reconstruction, why Reconstruction wasn't as long as it should have been, the fact that desegregation happened as it did, all these things that we can like really tackle on, and just really like, hey, like you may also have biases. Sometimes you might need to check your biases at the door. And although you mean well, you still need to give the power back to the people. Same thing with me. I don't live in some of these communities. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go and tell somebody what they should or should not be doing, because you know what your people want or need more than me. Although I may look of the people, I'm not in the community day in, day out. And it's not on me. The onus is not on me to tell people what they deserve or need. No, you tell me what you need and I'll go get the resources for you, bring them back to you, and you give that self-governance back to your people. Because that's what needs to happen. Now, when we're actually talking about the people who are trying to kill me, or kill us, racism is a funny thing. Let me tell you something about racism. Racism is funny because all of us are dying by the hands of racism. Like, if we look at the planet, environmental justice, if we really uplifted people who are dealing with not clean water, lead pipes, we're talking about native folk, we're talking about black folk who don't have clean water. Like, I remember not too long ago in the city, we couldn't drink water for like a day or two. So what happens to people who don't have those resources to go get bottled water? What do we do then? And it just doesn't affect black people because white people live in the city too. So how are we dealing with that? And it's like, oh, racism. Yeah. It affects all of us. And when we don't address it, now we're here and dealing with the environment. Now our planet is disintegrating because we didn't want to uplift the people in these areas because we don't want these people having whatever they want. And it's like, but you understand that once it hits one community, it hits us all. And that's the really, really toxic thing about racism, is that it just doesn't affect the people that you're trying to harm. Eventually, at some point, it's going to affect us all. Yeah. And I need people to understand that. And that is like the battle I have, because they think that, oh, if I, especially in ring shout, if I don't get something, then if this person gets something, then I don't get it. And that is the tool and mastery of white supremacy, that you don't think that resources are abundance. You work in a mindset of scarcity versus abundance. And I'm going to need everybody to get out of there. There's enough resources for everyone. No one, me and Dwayne were just, my fiance, we're just talking about this. Like, there's no reason why someone has over $1 billion. Yeah, there really is no reason. That's disgusting. No, what are you doing with this much money? No, that's gross. What are you doing? Yeah. Everybody should have a life to live and be able to work one job and go home and go take care of their families. Yeah. Not dying, working 3-4 jobs, not being able to be there with your kids, not being able to go to the PTA meetings, being an involved person in your community, which is a tool of white supremacy because it also affects labor unions. Yeah. Right? Yep. Republicans don't, right-wing people do not believe in unions, and they have tried to not make sure that black and brown people at the bottom level of this economic wheelhouse bake into labor unions, because they're like, oh, if they all get together, they all are going to realize that the real enemy is us, the mega wealthy, the mega corporations. Yes, you are the enemy. Yeah. You're spending way too much money and you're challenging and victimizing us at every turn. Yeah. So my diatribe. I'll get off my soapbox.
That's the thing, because it's like, again, in 1915, A Birth of a Nation, right? Like, that's the spell that he's talking about, like that. Because it is so fear-based, scarcity-based, violent-based, so much of it, that's the operation system. Yeah. So it's all working. Yeah, it's all working. And that's the problem. We got to realize that it's working, and we have to do something about it. You know what I mean? It's not is that the narrative is no longer, whatever. We have to break the wheel. Not to sound all Daenerys, but like, and I think to harken back a little bit to what you said, you are but one person. And that's why it's like really great that we have 3 representations in this character, because they all are responsible for separate tasks. Yeah. They all have to be, I'm not going to spoil it, but like something happens in the book that literally had me be like, what have you? Because it shifted that dynamic, right? But still, the fight went on. Like it was progress, because we have to dismantle and fight that spell, because you have to do it head on. So in order to get into the nooks and the crannies and the nitty gritty of how we got to this point, what are the fearful attributes? What are the violent attributes? Well, they're right in here, taking away your child's lunch just because they can't pay for it. Yeah. They're right here, taking kids playing in the street randomly at parties or what have you, but then turn around and doing nothing about active school shootings. Yeah. This is the battle here. You know what I mean? The spell is over all of us still. And just because some of us have a moment of realization to fight back and hit heavy, we still have to make that moment a reality every single day. We have to fight back and hit heavy every single day, because otherwise we're still living in this dream world which works for them. Yes. And that's what they want. The foundation of this book coming from a film is really fun to think about, because I saw it so visually as well. And I am very interested in hopefully a adaptation.
I think they are talking about an adaptation.
Film, they are, but like I would like an animated kind of Castlevania-esque series.
Really? I was thinking more
Lovecraft Country? Yeah.
That kind of visual.
Yeah. But like Castlevania on Netflix is like an adult.
No, it is good.
It's an adult animated, very visual type of moment, and I feel like they can. I mean, listen, it depends on who picks it up, right?
I wouldn't be upset if they like kind of went back and those two went from real. I forgot what a movie did have this or a show where they went from animated to real people, and like they switched back and forth.
Oh, I forget that one. I forgot. They love the whole live action thing now.
Yeah,
so it's kind of happening.
No, it's not live action. It's like literally like it goes animated, and I can't remember. There's a couple movies and shows have done that. Yeah. I wouldn't be upset about that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
With a bomb playlist.
With a bomb playlist, of course. No, this would be a dope playlist for sure. And I think
like a J. Cole, Kendrick situation.
Oh, definitely Kendrick for sure. Yeah. But then also like, get me some Glorilla in there. Get me some.
Oh, that would be some Meg Thee Stallion.
Get some Meg up in there. Yeah. Let's follow on the track with it. And last thing I want to talk about is just the weaponization of it all. Yeah. Because in the book, the 3 characters have to arm themselves and suit up. The spell cast over is a weaponizing factor. So it's like in the day-to-day, I'm like, just curious, like, how do you feel? Do you feel like you have to weaponize any aspects of yourself in order to make progress?
Yes. I think like, one, I'm not going to switch for anybody anymore. I'm not doing code switching anymore. I will show up authentically as myself, but I stand true in that if I feel as though someone is saying something that I think is harmful and not very helpful for the culture, I will stand up. I used to be like, oh no, I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. For example, I went on a trip recently and I was in a different country, and the person said like, oh, we're talking about COVID, and he called it the China virus. And I said, yeah, you shouldn't say that. Yes, my eyes were the same way. At first I was going to say anything because I was like, did he just say that? And then I said, you know what? No, I need to stand up in this moment and say what's right. I said, when you say things like that, although you may believe it came from this area, what's happening globally and currently in the United States are the attacks on AAPI people and the violence that is enacted because you say something like that. I'm just letting you know words have meaning and words have power. And some people told me I shouldn't have said that. And I said, you know what? Honestly, with all due respect, you can all go to hell. Because this is the reason why we're in the spaces and places and why we're here as a society. Yeah. Because we don't stand up when someone says something that's so wrong just to make somebody uncomfortable. Well, guess what? A bunch of people are getting hurt and killed and made uncomfortable because of stupid things that you say like that. So no, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Words have meaning.
Yeah. And I think that's what's hard for me is that it's like, and maybe it's because of connectivity, because I often have conversations with so many people, not of the Black community specifically, that are like that honesty.
Yeah.
It's like, my question was like, do you feel like you have to weaponize yourself at some point? And it's like, I like, to me, that's not a weapon. Like, just that's like truth. So it's like,
Truth
even
is a
like
weapon,
how
though.
but like, does it have to be though?
Unfortunately, in America, it is. We believe in Davy Crockett. That man was a pirater, and he left his wife, and he pirated slaves across county lines. He was no hero.
So I definitely understand that, but like, why does the admittance of our truth have to be turned into a weapon? Why can't it just be?
Because it challenges the wealthy class. They don't want all of us to get together, white, black, otherwise, get together, who are also affected by this like very hurtful system that disenfranchises all of us. We all got together and we started spitting truths together. They were like, well, you know what? Actually, the problem is them, not us. Them, not you, not you, not you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I definitely like
Status quo.
I think I give the truth and then let them go fight themselves. Like, I'm like, because this goes back to me being like, this is like this whole I'm not an educator thing. Which I know revealing truth is an act of education.
Yes.
But I don't feel as though it has to be an act of violence. I don't think I have to turn it into something to use against you. I could also give it a gift. So for me, truth is a gift. And if you fight me with it, then you're fighting somebody that's not here to fight you. You're fighting somebody who's choosing generosity.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where I come into the question of, why does admittance have to be weaponized? Your issues with this truth are your issues with our truth, and I wish you the well on your warfare with that. I don't have to go into the front lines with you over that. I've given you a piece of armor.
Yeah.
You go forth. I have turned, so to answer my own question, I have turned things into weaponry, but I realized that I turned them into weaponry. The foundation of them was not that. I ultimately, for whatever reason, maybe I got too emotional, maybe something pissed me off. Yes. Right? Yes. But also, I walked into that moment with a gift. And therefore, it turned into a weapon. So it's like, I want us to get back to a place where we value truth
When
as
did we
an
ever have
opportunity.
that?
Or excuse me, you're right. I would like us to get to a place.
Okay.
You're very right. Excuse me.
Because they killed Martin.
I'd like to be very clear about that. I would like us to get to a place where truth is a gift.
Right.
And I don't know how we get there, but that's what I would like.
Look, you guys tell us how we get there.
You know, I mean, y'all gonna have to. So, I mean, with that, you know, everybody, please read this book. It's fast read, less than 200 pages. P. Jeli Clark has really written something amazing and I think necessary for all of us to be able to break down and unpack the issues, the foundational issues of this world, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's available here at Charm City Books.
Yes,
And
it
we
is.
appreciate y'all. Once again, did you have any closing remarks?
Nah, just keep healing, y'all. Find your truth.
Yeah.
Truth to power.
Yeah, truth to power. Always, please. And
Almost.
speak it out
Yes.
loud. Absolutely.
Oh, and don't forget to rate us and review and do all the things. Share with your friends. Forgot. I'll be at a podcast party.
Yeah.
On May 20th. So definitely check us out. It'll be on my Instagram. So I'll be there on a panel just discussing podcasting and all of that. If you're interested in podcasts or you guys just want to meet in person, come on through.
Yeah, is it recorded and posted later? Or
Yeah, I
is
think
it,
so. I think it will be. But it'll be like a little party. It'll be hookah. It'll be champagne. You know, get lit.
Nice. Nice, exactly. Perfect. All right, thank y'all again for listening to another episode of But Make It Books podcast. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Niccara.
And until we see you next time, keep on bookishly healing through life.
Peace, y'all. Hey y'all, it's Niccara. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. If you like it, please make sure you review, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. Of course, sharing is caring, so make sure you share with your friends and let everyone know to come into Charm City Books to get our recommendation. And thank you so much for listening again, and I'll see y'all. Be good.